The sins of my father were visited upon me. The sins of my father. My mother moved from Mississippi to the windy city. She was easy prey because she was inexperienced but pretty. My slick talking father enticed her to sin because she had no experience dating men. She was a preacher's daughter who grew up in church, but when she forsook the word of God, her life went from bad to worse. My father made promises he never intended. The sins of my father were visited upon me. My mother moved from Mississippi to the windy city. She was easy prey because she was inexperienced but pretty. My slick talking father enticed her to sin because she had no experience dating men. She was a preacher's daughter who grew up in church, but when she forsook the word of God, her life went from bad to worse. My father made promises he never intended to keep. By the time my mother caught on, she was in too deep. When she became pregnant, things turned strange. All the love he showed her suddenly changed. As the date of my birth started to draw near, my father just upped and disappeared, alone in a big city and also about to have a baby. My father's betrayal nearly drove my mother crazy. She had no family support on the day of my birth. I was an innocent baby who was doubly cursed. Whenever my mother looked at my face, she was reminded of my father's betrayal and her disgrace. As I grew older, I became the spitting image of my dad. It was at this point in my life that things really turned bad. I misbehaved and got into trouble like all children do, but I did not deserve all the abuse my mother put me through. People say spare the rod and spoil the child, but the abuse I suffered left me damaged and defiled. For the smallest offense, I was beaten with an extension cord. Getting Vaseline to put on my welts was my only reward. In public, mama pretended to be the perfect mother, but she was demonically abusive away from others. Many nights I would pray that she was dead as I nursed by whelps. As I lay in my bed, it wasn't until I was grown that I began to understand that the abuse she inflicted on me was really intended for that man. Every time my mother looked at me, she saw my dad. I reminded her of how he had treated her so bad. The beatings I received were really intended for him, and that was the reason my childhood was so dark and grim. The sins of my father were visited upon me. The abuse I suffered negatively impacted my own family. My relationship with my mother was never where it should be. It took an act of God to finally set me free. The only way I broke free from the curse I was under was to finally release and forgive my mother. I realized that the reason my mother was so abusive and hateful was that she could never move on from my father's betrayal. And every time she looked at my face, it took her right back to that hurtful place. I thank the Lord for saving me. By His grace, He set me free. I'm a better person than I used to be. I'm a better husband and father to my family.